Good evening, teachers. So we were discussing at school today the possibility of using three different video capture software. We're talking about using OBS. We're talking about using Google Meet and Zoom. And so I have played around with all three of them, and so I just want to give you the pros and cons of each of them. And actually, newsflash, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I believe that Google Meet is probably going to be the best option for everybody across the board. So no matter if you're going to do live and have live video conferencing with students on at the same time and lecturing and discussions happening, or if you're going to take the approach where you're going to record the video and post that online, whether on YouTube or on Google Classrooms, or even emailing that out to parents or students. So either way, if you're doing live or non-live, I believe that Google, after playing around with all three of them, I believe that Google Meet is the best option. And so let me just talk a little bit about that. Let me bring up my comparison right here. As you can see here, all three are free to use. All three will do the non-live recording of your computer screen, so no problems there. Now, if you want to do something live, video conferencing with students, only Zoom and Google Meet will do that. OBS will not be able to do that. And separate from that, but very important as well, not just hosting and having and gathering students together at the same time online and having some discussions, but being able to record that. So yes, Zoom and Google Meet will allow you to record that conference. And that's very important because obviously if students are either sick or they forget or they have some computer or internet issues and they're not able to join in on your live video conference, which is very likely to happen. There might be a few students not there, and you'll be able to see who's there and who's not, both in Zoom and in Meet. If that happens, well then, if you did any lecturing or presenting of new materials, then those students would have missed it. But if you record that and post that online as well, well then, that's just a safety net there. That's very, very nice to have. Okay, well, what does Zoom have the edge over these competitors? Well, it does have a lot more bells and whistles. And so there's a lot of features in there, and so some of them are very useful. Some of them you might not touch, but I think the best one on there is being able to draw on your screen. And so OBS and Google Meet will not allow you to do that. But you can download a free third-party software that you can draw on your screen. So if you're interested to do that, just let me know and I can send some your way. Okay, easy to use. OBS, yes. Google Meet, yes. And in fact, I think Google Meet is even easier to use, much, much easier to use than OBS and Zoom. OBS is pretty easy to use, but there's a little bit of things that you have to do set up before you can use it. Zoom I played around with, and there's a few things that are a little bit confusing about Zoom, and I just thought, well, if you're not so tech savvy, you might have a little bit of a harder time using Zoom than Google Meet. And so, now obviously if you've used Zoom before and you've used it a lot of times, then you will probably feel comfortable in that environment, and so by all means that's fine. But if you've never done this, I would recommend Google Meet. It's much more simpler of an option to choose. And the last thing here, which is a big deal, if you use OBS or Google Meet, there's no need for students to create a separate, free but separate account to be able to view or join in on those live video conferencing. Well, OBS, there's nothing, you just download and install the software. There's nothing live anyways. But yeah, students would not have to create any account. They would just have to go on YouTube to watch your video, or go on Google Classrooms or wherever you've put the video, right? So that's easy. But Yeah, Google Meet, it's already part of the Google universe, and so that makes things so much easier. And because CLA has Google email accounts for students and faculty and staff, right? Since that's already there, there's nothing more that the students have to sign up for. As long as they're logged into their CLA Google accounts, then they would be able to very easily join in and join in with the video conferencing or watch the videos. And so that's a huge advantage. Whereas Zoom, every student would have to go on the Zoom website and create a free account. And so I don't know how many students would actually do that, and it's just getting them to jump over one more hoop that is not even there if you do Google Meet. Also, something to note is that both OBS and Zoom, you do need to download and okay. So with teachers have to download and install OBS. Students do nothing because they just go on YouTube. With Zoom, both students and teachers must download and install that software. So again, one less hurdle for Google Meet. There is, unless I missed it, I don't think there is anything that you have to download and install. You just have to go to meet.google.com, meet.google.com. And this is only available for the Enterprise Edition of Google. So in other words, this will work with CLA Google accounts. This will, and it will not work with your personal Google account, right? So you have to be logged in to an enterprise edition of Google, which is like an EDU, like CLA's. Okay, so those are some of the reasons why. And so let's just compare the top two then. In my opinion, Google Meet and OBS. Since Google Meet does it all and it's easier to use than OBS, that's why let's just go ahead and use Google Meet. That's my opinion there. But yeah, if you feel like you want to do OBS or Zoom, that's fine as well. So let me now introduce Google Meet and show you how it looks and how it works. Let me minimize out of here, and I'm just on my web page right now. You can see, well, let me see if I can zoom in there. See, meet.google.com. That's all you have to go to, and when you go there, let me just show you on a different web browser real quick here. When you first go to, well, first of all, you have to be logged in to your account, your CLA account. And when you go here, it's going to just pop up a simple screen that says, hey, would you like to join or start a meeting? And so you just click on this plus sign here. And so this is to join or start a meeting. Now, teachers, you're going to start a meeting. Now, even if you're not going to actually do a live meeting, right, and all you want to do is record, and no students are meeting together, you're just recording, still you're going to have to start your own meeting to do that. Join is what students are going to do. And so it says here, enter the meeting code or nickname. I'm not sure what the nickname would be, but meeting code I'll talk to you about. To start your own meeting, enter a nickname or leave. Sorry. To start your own meeting, enter a nickname or leave a blank. Okay, so obviously, sorry, I know what nickname is. So you're either, if you're going to join a meeting, you need to enter the meeting code. If you're going to start your own meeting, whether it's to host students to jump on to meet with you live, or to record your own video for later, for posting later, you're going to have to give it some name. So I'm just going to call this CLA test. Oops, test. I'm going to go ahead and hit, well, I'm not going to hit continue actually, but when you go ahead and hit continue, because I'm already on my other web browser, let me just drag this off out of the way. You're going to, oh, actually, I probably should show you the beginning parts of that. You're going to, even though I'm already on, I wonder if it, let's see if it'll even let me do this. Okay, you're going to get another page that's going to not give you camera failed error messages, because the reason why it's giving me that error is because I'm already using my camera on my other instance of Google Meet. And so this way you'll be able to test your camera. You're actually not in the meeting yet until you actually join your own meeting by clicking on this join now. Okay, It says no one else is here. So you click join now, and once you do that, you're actually going to see something like this screen right here. And I already have another account. I have a dummy student account that's also joined on here. So as you can see, the total people count is 2, me plus my dummy account. So see, there I am, and there's my dummy account right there. And I'll click off over here to get rid of that. And you can also chat. So if I click on chat, I can, type down here, "Hi, dummy," and send that. And my dummy account is not going to respond to that because it's dummy. Okay. There it is. So you're going to see this. And I'm looking at the laptop right now that my other computer, I have a laptop on that's logged in as my student. It's seeing what you're seeing. It's just seeing my face right now. If you go down to the bottom of your screen here, if you mouse down, if it's missing, just bring your mouse all the way to the bottom. Meeting details, this is where it's at. And when you click on this, this is where you're going to have the details for students. Now, again, this is only if you're going to be hosting a live event, okay, live video conferencing. And so you're going to want to make sure that you have this information. And I'm not sure if I don't think it changes. I think this is the same thing as what I've had all day long. Yes, I've tried this many times. So I think maybe this will maybe semi-indefinitely be your code. And so it's not like you'll have to give a different code every time. I'm thinking, but I haven't tried it too much. But so far today, every time it's been the same code. So let me just zoom in and show you what I mean. It's actually this right here, what I'm highlighting right here. That and only that is your code. Now you can see down here there's actually a phone number that's associated with this, and there is a PIN number as well. So there is a way, I believe, to I think from Google Hangouts or something, to dial in to this meeting just by using the phone number. I think, or like if somebody's on their mobile phone, I think. I'm not sure, but they would dial that number and give that PIN number, I believe. But no, that would be another way of doing it, I believe. But all you need to do is give them this number here, and that's it. And so when they are here, let me show you again. When they are actually trying to get to that page, let me go back to here. I left the meeting, yep. And so when they go ahead and try to join that meeting by clicking on join, that's where they'll paste that code. It's just three letters dash 4 letters dash 3 letters of the alphabet, right? And so that's all it is. And they just type that in, and then they would hit continue, and they'd be able to join your meeting. Again, don't worry about that if you're not having any live events. You don't even have to worry about that at all. Okay, so I'm going to hide that. I can mute my mic by clicking on this. I can hang up the phone, and that will not disconnect the rest of the students. That will just disconnect me from this meeting. Even though I started it, I won't be in there anymore. But all the students could still remain and be chatting with each other, right? They could do that, whether they're chatting by excuse me, by this texting option, or even by speaking. So maybe if you wanted, you could ask all your students to turn off their microphones so that they're not, the sound of their eating or their music playing isn't disturbing the rest of the class possibly. But I haven't tried this with more than just my one device right now, my dummy account. If I press this button right here, it's going to go ahead and turn off my camera. Now that doesn't make me leave. I'm still in session, and they can still hear me because my microphone's still on. I could turn that off too, right? Now they can't hear me or see me, right? And it turns red, as you can see right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and unmute that and unblock my video, and back I am. So those are those 3 buttons there. So very, very simple. Google Meet is very, very easy. And there's a couple more things I have to show you. How did I start recording? I'm actually technically not recording right now using Google Meet. But if you wanted to, you would actually click on this ... And I've actually enabled recording for all teachers This option wasn't available earlier this afternoon, but I enabled it. So now everybody, all you do is just click this button, and you'd start recording. It would be recording, and it would actually have a recording icon, a red flashing thing right up here on the top left-hand corner, not just on your screen, but on all of the students' screens as well, so that they know that a recording is actually happening. Now, one of the cool things about this is you can see this as I click on these three dots. You can actually see this thing pop up. But I'm looking over at my laptop over there with the student, my dummy student logged in, and this doesn't actually appear. They can't even see that. They just see me and my face, and they see everything behind. Right? They see the green, right? The 2010. 2009, 2010 CLA staff pictures. They can actually see that right now, even though I have this thing up. It's blocking your view right now, but they're not seeing it. So that's really awesome. So you can actually go ahead and start recording the meeting and stop recording the meeting by clicking, because it'll turn into a button that says stop recording. They won't actually see you do that or anything out here, right? So that's kind of nice. Well, how am I able to do this magic? How in the world are you recording this without recording this? Well, the reason why is because I'm actually using OBS right now, because recording it doesn't actually record all of these other things. When I tried this earlier, when I tried to hit record and I brought up the menu and I watched it back, and this menu wasn't showing up on the recording either. And so that was a problem, because I'm trying to teach you guys how to use this. And so I actually am using OBS right now. See? Here it is. And it's mirroring itself, as you can see, because it's recording a recording of itself, etc., etc. So I'm actually using OBS right now to record this, to teach you guys, show you guys the ins and outs of Google Meet. All right, so that's how you start recording. Once you hit stop, the cool thing about Google Meet is as soon as you hit stop, what's going to happen is it's going to automatically save a file onto your Google Drive. It's going to be there automatically. So there's nothing to upload because it's already there. It's uploading it, it's recording it, and it's uploading it to your Google Drive account. And I'll show you that later. So that takes one step out right there, just having to upload stuff. It's already, everything's right there, ready for you to share right away. So that makes things nice. Now, the other thing that's very important to be able to do is changing this camera. Right now it's just the web camera that I have on my computer right now, and you're seeing me. And obviously that's awesome if you need to show something to your students, you know, here, take a look at this, and you have to plug this into here, and you know, you have to plug these things together and get them to work right. So obviously that's nice to have that webcam, but sometimes you want to show things on your screen. And well, it was easy for me to just go ahead and drag things over because I'm actually using OBS to do the recording, so it's actually very easy for me to drag things over like this. But actually right now, when I drag this over right here, I'm looking at my student's laptop. They're not seeing it at all, right? Because it's actually not, right? This is not actually showing up on what my student's laptop is seeing. I'm looking at my student's screen. It's not showing up at all. So how in the world can you actually go ahead and show your students other things, whether it's another like another document, like a PowerPoint presentation or something like that, or your entire screen? Maybe you want to show your entire screen. So here's what you have to do. Right down here, you choose Present Now. And see, you have two options. And actually, when you go to either one of them, it gives you the option for the other one as well. So I'm just going to go ahead right now and say, you know what? I want to present my entire screen. So I'm going to click on that. And see right up here, it's going to give you an option here, and there's a drop-down list here. And so it's just saying, hey, what would you like to show? And see, look, it has window or screen. So I don't even know what the option, why even have the option to choose, do you want to do a window or screen? Because either way, it's going to give you everything, all of the above. So here's a window, here's a window, here's a window, here's my two screens. I actually have two screens on my computer right now. And so screen number 1 is over here, and screen number 2 is over there. So I physically have two screens. So I'll just go ahead and show you my second screen where my OBS software is running right now. So I'm going to click on that. And then it's going to give you a preview of it, of what it actually is. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit allow. And you might want to go ahead and check the remember this decision so that it always has that permission to allow that. I'm just going to hit allow, and it takes a second. Oh, let's see, something's happening right now. So here's the curious thing. Excuse me. On my screen, what you're looking at is what I'm seeing as a teacher right now. Well, what's going on? The second screen isn't there. Well, because I can actually just turn my head and look at my second screen. But right now, even though I don't see it on this screen, what you're looking at, my student is actually seeing what I'm seeing on my second screen. Well, what if you don't have a second screen? Well, here's the thing. It's right up here. Not a second screen. You won't have a second screen, but whatever you've actually directed it to, whether it's another window or another screen, it's going to be, the students are looking at it right now. Even though I can't see it unless I turn my head over there. The students are actually seeing it right now. If you want to see exactly what the students are seeing, what you need to do is actually see this new thing just appeared right up here. It was just a little preview picture of me and what the webcam is seeing, but now that I've also opened up something else to present by clicking down here, this has appeared here. So if I click here, see, look, there, this is exactly what's on my second screen. You can see the flower background, and you can see my OBS software is running. And that's exactly, if I turn my head over to see what my students are seeing on the laptop, this is exactly what they're seeing. And of course, I can go back and forth. I can go back here, and I can go back here. But here's the thing. This does not, by me clicking back and forth between these two options, it actually does not change what my students are seeing at all. They're still seeing whatever I'm presenting. Always. Even if I click back on this picture of me, they're always seeing it. So, and they're actually seeing both. Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. They're seeing both this and my face. This one is big, and next to it small, kind of like 25% size, is this. So when you go and excuse me, when you actually present, you do want to be careful. You don't want to be picking your nose or anything dumb like that, because all the students will still be able to see you, even though they're mainly looking at that. There's a 25% size window right next to them that they can see it. I don't know if I can, here, let me see if I can bring my webcam here. I'm going to take my webcam just temporarily and aim it at my laptop there. I know you can't see that at all, but you can see on that laptop screen, most of it is that second thing with you can see the pinkish background, but right next to that is actually a picture of whatever's on this webcam, which is usually going to be your face. So careful. You're still on camera, even though you've presented something, is really just what I want to say there. Okay. So this just controls what you're seeing on your main screen, but all the students are going to see that once you're presenting. Oops, what's going on? Oh, wow, that's cool. I don't know what I've just done, but I now have, why do I have 3 people? Who's in here? Oh, somehow I'm presenting 3 times, and hang on. I have, why am I in here so many times? I don't know what just happened. And actually, that was a picture of my student. I put my cactus in front of my laptop over there just as a dummy to pretend that was, yeah, ooh. If I click on that, what am I clicking on? All right, so somehow if I click on this little thumbtack, I actually can see my student's face, which is my cactus right there. And And my student, all they're seeing is still my second screen, just like normal. Okay, so, all right, okay, well, you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Let me hit stop presenting, and when I do that, my student is now seeing my face again. And I am seeing my student's face, unless I click over here and change it to my own face. Yeah, ooh, okay, so I can switch back and forth between, ooh, yeah. Click here to see my student, click here to see me. All right. Present a window. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you something here. This window that I had of Microsoft Word of the comparisons, what if I want to show that to my students? So let me show you guys something that's very important. If you have something that you want to show your students, if you minimize it by pressing this minus button here, it won't find it. It will not find it. You have to have it up, and then you can just go down to your taskbar, right? You don't want to minimize it. You're going to want to leave it up. Well, then it's in my way. Well, then click on your browser that is actually where your meeting is, right? So use your taskbar to change between the tasks, because if you minus out any of these, minimize any of these, then when you try to go ahead and say, I want to present a window, and it won't be here. See, it's not there. Okay, I'm going to go do screen 2 for now and say okay. Okay, there I am. I'm presenting my screen 2 again. See, there it is. But I'm going to stop the presentation because I want to show you guys my Word document. And click back on my face, and I'm going to unminimize this. See, it's called Screen Capture Software Options.docs. And then now I'm not going to minimize that. See, I just switched back and forth between these from the bottom of my screen here. Now if I say present a window, and again, it's going to be here even if you do an entire screen. I'll say a window. Screen Capture Software Options.docs. Okay, there it is. I click on that and I say, see, it gives you a little preview. I say allow, and it is now. Let me click on here. It is now right here. My students are seeing that, even though you're seeing me. If I click over here to change my view, this is exactly what my students are seeing right now. Okay. And yeah, I can have this up, and if I move this around, I'm looking at my students. See, I actually have my Microsoft Word document, and I'm going to full screen that, and I'm going to see, oh yeah, don't worry about that. That was my, this was my outline for my OBS presentation. But yeah, you don't need to, use Google Meet. It's going to be a lot better anyway. So there it is. And as I move this up and down, my students' file. So it doesn't matter if I shrink this. If I shrink it, it shrinks on their screen. If I move this, it moves on their screen. But the focus will always be here, no matter what. Even if I drag this off the screen a little bit like this, the students, it didn't move at all. It's still on their screen. They can perfectly see everything on there because the focus is on the actual window, not on where it is on your screen, right? Because it's not capturing your screen anymore. It's just capturing everything in this window. Does that make sense? Hopefully, right? So if I scroll up there, I'm looking at my student screen right now. It's scrolled up. If I scroll down, it's scrolled down. Okay. I'm going to click back on here, and I'm going to say, hey, stop presenting this. By clicking here, stop presenting. Okay, there we go. I'm seeing my student again, and there's my student. And okay, so now it's time to move on to the last bit of this, which is stopping my video. And when you stop, again, I'm not actually using Google Meet to record, but what you would do is click on these 3 dots and hit the stop recording. Right now I haven't even started recording because I'm recording on OBS. You'd hit stop, and then as soon as you do that, there's going to be a little message that appears on the bottom of your screen that says saving to Victor Yang's Google Drive. And so let's just pretend that I've already done that. And I'll just do it with a file that I did previously. So then all you're going to want to do is log into Google and then go to your Google Drive. And if you don't know how to do that, here, let me just show you real quick. Let's just start all over here. I'm going to go home here. I'm going to go Google. And pretend you're already logged in. If not, click on login right there. I'm already logged in. But if you click on these little, the apps button right here, the 9 little squares there, if you click on that. So you're going to have different options here, including Google Drive right here. Right? And we have Google Classrooms down there. We have Google Meets over here. We have YouTube over there. So pretty much everything you're going to need is right there at your fingertips anyways. So I'm going to click on Google Drive, except I'm not because I already have it open. So here I am, and I'm in my Google Drive. And let me just hit refresh just in case. Let me see, did it finish processing that? Oh, it did. Oh, nice, finally. That took a really long time. Okay, so in the quick access part, if you're in your drive, in the quick access, it should have every single video, well, not every single video, but every single file that you've most recently accessed. And so the one that I created about a half an hour ago is right there. And if you cannot find it, let me just tell you exactly where it is, because again, this is just a quick access to your recent files. But let's just say it's not there. Maybe you've worked on some other files and that's no longer appearing there. Well, where it's automatically going to store all of the Google Meet recordings are right here. It's going to create a folder called Meet Recordings. And so let me go ahead and double click that. And here it is. Here are all the files that I have created so far right here. And it has a timestamp. It has the code and the timestamp on there. And so the last couple that I've used, yeah, has been the same access code. Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah, previously it used a different one. And this was earlier today at 2:50 and 2:55. Okay, anyways, those are my tests that I was running before. Now, okay, so what I'd like to say is it actually takes, after you're done recording, the recording will not show up here right away. For me, it took a couple of minutes before it'd show up. So after you finish your meeting and you've gone ahead and hit the stop now, and the message appears and says, hey, yeah, it's saving to your Google Drive. It's actually not going to appear here, nor in the quick access. It won't even appear there for a couple of minutes because it's going to take a little time before it actually takes it off of Google's server, because it's actually saving it. When it's recording, it's actually saving it to Google's server, and when you hit stop, it's going to go ahead and download it off of Google's server and onto your drive. Now, you can see that these 3 videos here have automatically created thumbnails, whereas this one right here does not. Now, I have no idea why this one has not finished yet. This one was even earlier, a half an hour earlier. You can see this was 6:56. Sorry, that's military time. So that was at 4:54 today, whereas this one's at 5:25 today, right? And so this one's finished creating its thumbnail. This one has not. I don't know why it's taking this one so long, but eventually it will create a thumbnail. How long it takes? This one, it took me an hour. I had to wait over an hour before this thumbnail appears. Well, why does that matter? Well, it matters if you actually want to see and play back what you have made. So I can see and play this one back where I cannot do that on this. I can play and see these. So if there's a play button on it, a thumbnail preview image on it, and there is the play button on it, then you can actually click on play and watch it, and it will show you everything that you need to know. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one and see what happens. If I click on that, I guess it just selects it. You have to double click. I'm sorry. I'm going to double click on that, and there it is. I'm going to hit it's playing right now. All right, good evening, teachers. I'm here to talk about, I'm going to hit pause, but you see, there it is. That is the video right there and you can fast forward through it and skip ahead and all that good stuff. And so let me go ahead and get out of here. Alright, so that's that. But this one right here, if it just has this little white and red icon, if you try to double click it, here's the message you're going to get. You're going to get this, we're processing this video, please check back later. And again, it could take an hour or more, depending on how long your video is. It takes surprisingly long for that. What I've found is, see, it gives you the option. You can download the video. And yes, when I download the video to my computer and try to play it, it actually plays fine. I can see the whole video. Nothing's wrong with it. So that tells me, as long as you can see this icon, even if it doesn't have the play button and the little thumbnail, this should be accessible to anybody. So you could go ahead and share this right away. And in fact, I'm going to right click on this right now, and I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to share this by emailing some people with this. And so you can go ahead and get a shareable link if you want to, put that somewhere else, right? So if I click on this share button, what's going to happen is it's going to open up this, and I can go ahead and type in students or teachers' names, and it'll go ahead and auto-populate what I want. So if I type in Victor, see, there it is, victor.yang@christianliberty.com. And so that's going to appear right there. And so let's just go ahead and add me, actually. There it is. It added me. And I can type in others. I can add in some of my students, right? See? There he goes. Add in one of my students, right? So, and you can add a note and notify the person that is important that you leave that check. Otherwise, if you don't check that box, it's just going to share it with them, but they won't actually have a link or a message saying, hey, I shared it with you. So it's nice to notify the person. If you click on Advance, there's some other options, but usually I don't think you're going to need anything in here. What this will do is it'll let you change ownership, and let me just see what else. Oh, well, I guess this is kind of somewhat important sometimes. Send a copy to myself. So if you want to have the message sent to you as well, check that box. And here, let me zoom in real quick here. Disable. Okay, well, these are not so important for videos, but if you email this video to somebody, you can say that they're not allowed to download this video, and prevent others from accessing and changing. Now, that's maybe somewhat important if you have like a document, like a Word document or a text file. You don't want anybody changing or modifying or downloading it. They can only see it. They can't download it or distribute it. So, but for sharing videos, that's not really important at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit cancel now, because most of you guys will probably not even do it this way at all. Hang on. I want to hit done here. Okay, most of you guys are probably not going to go ahead and right click on it and share it this way. Most of you guys are going to likely, well, though you could go to RenWeb to share this as well, or but even easier, if you have Google Classrooms, that would be the easiest way to distribute. And so I'm going to go ahead and go to my Google Classrooms right now. There I am. And so I'm in my Google Classrooms for Intro to Programming. And so if I go ahead and I'm in my stream right here, and I can click here to add a new stream, and I can say, watch this video. I'm going to click on this add button right here, and see, right here. All I have to do is say, well, you know what? That's already on my Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Google Drive right here. And recent. But you could also, instead of going to recent, you could go ahead and just say my drive. Either way, I mean, it's already there in recent, but I'm going to go the long way and go to my drive, meeting recordings, and this red guy right here, and hit add. Right? And there it is. If I hit post, boom, it'll share it to all my students. And so this makes it so much easier to be able to record things and distribute it to your students, especially because we're already using the Google ecosystem right here, and so it just goes really well with YouTube, really well with Google, your Gmail, your Google Classrooms. It just integrates really well with all of those things. So I didn't have to do very much to be able to do this. Whereas if I did this in OBS, I would have to save it to my computer, then upload it from my computer to here, which isn't that hard either, but this does make things a little bit easier. And it's a one-stop shop, and it does everything. Again, it does everything for you, and it's easy to use. All right, I guess that is the end of my video, and I hope this was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, just like I am writing in my email that I'm about to send to you guys, I will be here tomorrow. Let's just say I'll be here probably longer than that, but let's just say between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you have any questions or need help setting this up, or your recording, or your video's not working, your webcam's not working, or your microphone's not working, or anything like that, you can come tomorrow and let me know, and I can try to give you a hand between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Probably the only biggest thing that's teachers could potentially mess up, I'll show you right now. Let's say I decide to present something. I'm going to hit the present now, and I'm going to present a window. And I realize, oh, well, you know what? My Microsoft Word document's not on there. Must be minimized. Yep, it's probably minimized. That's why. And now that I've brought this up, if I unminimize it and I go back to my window here, this still will not be an option. It has to be on your screen before you actually do this. So what happens is sometimes teachers might say, don't allow. And so, because they're like, well, it doesn't look like there's a way to cancel out of here, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit don't allow. And hit dismiss. You must grant permission in order to screen share. So hit dismiss. So here's the problem that happens. Now that they've actually, and so now, okay, let me bring this up here. And now that I have that up, let me go here, and now let me go ahead and present something, and present a window. See, here's the problem that's going to happen. You can't screen share because now that you've said don't allow, it's not going to allow you to screen share again. Well, how do you remedy that? The way that you fix that is by going right up here on your web browser. You can see here are the options, and see, if you look here, I have microphone is allowed, my camera is allowed, share to screen, block temporarily. So what you're going to want to do is hit this X right here to undo that and say clear this permission and ask me again. Now that I've cleared it, now if I go ahead and try to present a window, see, now it's back, and my Microsoft Office is right there, and the preview, yep, that's the one I want, and I'm going to hit allow, and there it is. It's going to present that to my students. They're seeing this document right now. So that is another thing just to keep in mind. But again, ooh, yikes, I think, ooh, it just crashed. Okay, well, I'm just going to restore this tab. But, well, anyways, that's the end of my video. I hope that was helpful for you, and if it was not, yeah, come see me tomorrow between 10 and 12, and I'll try to give you a hand. All right, I'm going to stop the video here. Good.